हेलो, हेलो, वॉइस ऑडिबल है सभी लोगों को? एवरीवन? ओके। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एवरीवन, जिन लोगों ने अभी तक अपनी एनओसी नहीं जमा की है, प्लीज बच्चा परसों तक, सैटरडे तक का कंपनी टाइम आप लोगों को दे रही है। सैटरडे तक प्लीज जमा कर दो अपने एनओसी। साथ ही साथ आप लोग अपने क्या कहते हैं, जो भी चीजें पेंडिंग है, रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं हुआ है या हो गया, प्लीज सारी चीजें सैटरडे तक कंप्लीट कर लो। ये मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है आप लोगों से। और में जो भी असाइनमेंट या जो भी डाउट है वो सैटरडे को टेकअप किया जाएगा। ओके, और प्लीज इसको क्लियरिफाई करो सारी चीजों को। और जो पुराने बच्चे हैं सेशन में जुड़ रहे हैं, वो लोग रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर्म प्लीज फिल कर दो। ओके, प्लीज फिल कर दो रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर्म, तभी आप लोगों को रिकॉर्डिंग दी जा सकती है, नहीं तो नहीं भेजा जा सकेगा। मंडे ऑनवर्ड से पूरी जो बैच सेट हो जाएंगे वो बैच चलेंगे। ठीक है, ओवर टू यू सर। हेलो, बिल्कुल सर। हेलो। Yes, sir, you can start. Over to you. Over to you.
Yes, hi everyone. Do you have any questions in the last part? Yes, Nisha, do you have any questions? Boy, Aditya, Ashutosh, Atul, Dhruv. Do you have any questions? Do you have any doubts in the last part? All right, if you don't have, I'll just share my screen so that we can start the next part. So in the last session, we have discussed the loops, right? We have discussed the loops. What are the different loops that we have in Python? So in that we have discussed for loop, while loop, if else loop, and we have seen these problems. Now we will just see the we'll just see loops in different data structures. But before that, let me check if we have left with something or not. Just a minute. So what do we have is right. Right. So suppose you have one more questions. For an example, you have one more question when it comes to interview, right? So what is the question is you have to print odd numbers from the given list. You have to print odd number from the given list, and your list over here is, suppose this is your list 1, 2, 3, 13, 17, 16, 19, 21, and 26. Suppose this is your list. Now, what we'll do is we'll pass a for loop for I in li. If I percentage 2 is equal to 1, and print bi. Now we have seen this thing, right, in the last session itself, how to print the odd numbers, how to print the even numbers. Yes or no? So this is how you can print the odd number. Suppose you want to print even numbers in this string. What you'll do, you'll write down I percentage 2 is equal to 0. So इसमें जो even number है वही आपको मिल रहे वहां पे, right? Now just like this you can create a list, and suppose you want to get individual elements in a list. Suppose this is your list. You have apple, you have banana, and you have cherry, right? You're writing for I in list print I. आपको एक एक इंडिविजुअल एलिमेंट मिलेगा वहां पे by using for loop. Similarly, you can write down this thing as well for I in range. कौन से रेंज में? लेंथ ऑफ लिस्ट के रेंज में. नाउ लेंथ ऑफ लिस्ट क्या है? What is length of list? It is 3, right? So indirectly this is for I in range 3. For I in range 3, print list of I. So ये भी आप कर सकते हो to get the individual element one by one. You can use while loop for this. Suppose this is your list. I is equal to 0 while I is less than length of this, not this list, length of list. You are printing what you want to print. You want to print list of I, and then you'll write down I is equal to I plus 1. So this is also one of the ways to fetch the individual element by list. And last but not the least, we have list comprehension. Where what you do is, it is one of the shortest syntax for looping through list. So it offers the shortest syntax for looping through list. Right? Now what you can do in this is, you will write down list is equal to apple, comma, banana, comma, kiwi, let's say comma, cherry. Now you will write down print x or I. Print I for I in list. Print I for I in list. And you have to let's see if I give this in square bracket. So you have to make sure you are using the square bracket over there for I in print I for I in this list. right? So this is what is known as list comprehension. Now suppose, uh, let's say, how to use loop in your tuples. How you can use loops in your tuple. We'll just see this. So what do I have with me is, let's say, hmm, let's say I have a tuple. Tuple is equal to round bracket apple, banana, cherry, and for I in tuple print x, right? Sorry, not x, I. You can use this to print the individual elements. Is it clear? Similarly, what we can have is, we can write down the loop for this. For I in range length of tuple, and you have to print the tuple. Print tuple of I, not tuple, tuple of I, right? Or same thing, you can use while loop that we have discussed. So what you can do is I is equal to 0 while I is less than length of tuple, print tuple of I, and I is equal to I plus 1, right? Now for set as well, you can do this thing. Set, you can use loop for set or dictionary. Same thing, you can do it. Just create a set like this, or create a dictionary like this, and just write down for I in dictionary. And you have to do the same thing, right? Is it clear now? Is it clear, guys? Now, if this is done, we'll go and create the day number 3. Let us create new folder for day 3 over there. Now, let's say what I'm doing is over here is to add new notebook. Let us try to understand the functions. Now in Python, we have different functions. So there are two types of functions in Python. First is your built-in functions, and second is your user-defined functions. Right? First is built-in functions, second is user-defined functions. Now, what are the built-in functions? Print is your one of the built-in function. Print. Now, function कैसे identify करते हैं? Anything you write down before bracket. मतलब फंक्शन को कैसा आइडेंटिफाई किया जाता है जिसके बाद में आप ब्रैकेट यूज करते हो, दैट इज योर फंक्शन इन वेरी सिंपल वर्ड्स. Print is one of the function that we have, right? Then we have seen length function, length, len. तो ऐसे अपने बहुत सारे फंक्शन देखे थे, दैट इज यूजर डिफाइंड फंक्शन इन पाइथन, right? So user defined functions we already have discussed, and that we, sorry, not user defined, built-in functions. What are the built-in functions that we have in Python? So there are many built-in functions which are already there in Python. देखो, these are the built-in functions, and you don't have to remember this thing. सब याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. So type है, tuple है, sum है, str है, sorted है, right? You have a number of built-in functions, but the main important point is user-defined function. Now, what is user-defined functions in Python? We'll try to understand that. These are the user-defined functions. तो अगर आपको एक कंटिन्यू रिपीटेडली टास्क करना है हमेशा, तो वी राइट डाउन द फंक्शन. Now, how to declare function? We have a def keyword, this def keyword. Suppose for an example, आपको area of a rectangle, या फिर आप suppose एक project कर रहे हो, you are working on a project जिसमें area of a rectangle हमेशा आपको कंटिन्यू कैलकुलेट, मतलब बहुत बार आपको कैलकुलेट करने की वहां पे जरूरत है, राइट? व्हाट विल डू, यू विल क्रिएट अ फंक्शन which will calculate the area of a rectangle, right? So this is what we have. Just a minute, guys, I'm getting a call. एरिया ऑफ रेक्टेंगल आपको निकालना हमेशा. So you have to create a function which will calculate area of a rectangle. Now what you'll do is you will create a function. कैसे function create करना है? df define करके आपको function बनाना है. और ये function का नाम आप कुछ भी देख सकते हो, abc या फिर area या फिर जो आपको देना है वो दे सकते हो. सपोज मैं एरिया ऑफ रेक्टेंगल ये फंक्शन का नाम दे रहा हूँ. इसमें लेंथ कॉमा ब्रेड्थ पास कर रहा हूँ. राइट, एरिया इज इक्वल टू लेंथ इनटू ब्रेड्थ एंड आई एम रिटर्निंग एरिया ओवर देयर. सो मैंने क्या किया है, एरिया ऑफ रेक्टेंगल फंक्शन बनाया है जिसमें ये पैरामीटर पास करने वाला हूँ मैं, लेंथ एंड ब्रेड. और एरिया फॉर्मूला बना रहा हूँ, एरिया इज इक्वल टू लेंथ इनटू ब्रेड्थ, राइट, एंड आई एम रिटर्निंग एरिया ओवर देयर. सो ये फंक्शन को कॉल कैसे करना है आपको अभी, हाउ यू कैन कॉल दिस, व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द फंक्शन, यू विल टेक दैट आउट. एंड इसमें क्या पास करना है फंक्शन को कॉल करते टाइम, लेंथ एंड ब्रेड्थ. सपोज लेंथ है आपकी 20, ब्रेड्थ है 4, लेंथ LENGTH, राइट, LENGTH. सो एरिया ऑफ रेक्टेंगल क्या है, 20 into 4 80, राइट. तो आपको हमेशा एरिया ऑफ रेक्टेंगल, सपोज आपको एरिया ऑफ रेक्टेंगल कैलकुलेट करना है for rectangle having 10 as the length, 4 as the breadth. So what you'll do, you will take this function and you will pass the length and breadth over there. Is it fine now? Is it clear how to create a function? Now just try this thing. Just try this and let me know if you are getting any error or not. Just try this, and this thing. Is it fine, guys? Now we'll go and create another function. Let's say your question is create a function which gives area of a circle. How we can do is, let us create a function. फंक्शन का नाम आप कुछ भी दे सकते हो. लेट्स से एरिया में नाम दे रहा हूँ एरिया. इसमें क्या पास करने वाला हूँ? I'll pass radius. Then I'll define the area of a circle formula. Area into area is equal to 3.14 into radius, right? And if I return the area, I'll be creating the function. Now, how to call this function? You have to write down name and just write down radius. So ये क्या है? This is area of a circle having radius 4 centimeter or 4, right? वैसे आपको और एक फंक्शन बनाना, सपोज create a function which will calculate the area of a triangle. How we'll do is define, let's say, area of a triangle. इसमें आपको क्या पास करना है? आपको लेट्स से बी एंड एच पास करना है सपोज. तो एरिया ऑफ अ ट्राइंगल का फॉर्मूला क्या है? एरिया इज इक्वल टू हाफ into base into height, right? And you return the area. So return area. If you do so, how to calculate, how to run this function? You have to write down the name of base or height का value put करना है आपको. Now let us take your question over here. ये आपको करना है अभी. Question is, create a function which will calculate the square of a number. Square of a number. How we can do is, let us try to do this. So just you can take your time, 1 to 2 minutes, and take help of these functions that we have created. Just create a function which will calculate the square of a number. Yes, is it done, guys? HM Sharma, Hari Mohan Sharma is good. What about other guys? Can you write down your answer in the chat? Just write down your answer in the chat.
Can you all access the chat box? Can you all write or no? Okay, okay, wait. Check now.
Define square A. Square is equal to A. Return square. Right. Define square of a number. Number to square. This is also good. So we'll just see this thing how to create a square of a number. So let us define square. Let's say square is my thing, is my function name, and what I'll do is square is equal to x into x, right? And if I write down return square, this can be your answer, one of the answers. So there are a number of options that we have to create these functions. This is one of them, right? Now I think this is done. We can go with the next part, which is here, libraries in Python, right? So I'll create a new notebook. This is my notebook. I'll just write down name as libraries in Python. Now we'll discuss what are the different libraries that we use for data science. So I'll write down the heading as key libraries. First key library is Pandas library, right? First key library is your Pandas library. So what is this? It is used for handling and manipulating data frame. What is data frame? It is two-dimensional objects. We are going to see this thing today. See this thing in today's session. What is data frame? And I'll just write down what is data frame over here. It is a special kind of data structure which allows you to store data in tabular format. The second library that we have is NumPy. So what is NumPy? It is numerical Python, right? And it is used for numerical operations. We have third library, which is matplotlib and Seaborn. So it is used for data visualization in Python. And Seaborn is built on matplotlib. Seaborn is built on matplotlib library. Then after this, we are going to study the fourth library, which is SciPy, and its full form is Scientific Python, and it is used for complex operations. Like whenever you want to calculate information statistics, we generally use this Scientific Python library, right? Then right after this, fifth library stats model. It is used for statistical modeling. And sixth library that you have is sklearn. Its full form is scikit-learn, and it is used for machine learning algorithms. So this is what we have for the libraries. We are going to study these libraries. Now the very first thing is we'll start with the pandas and numpy library. So in that we are going to see the pandas library. So I'll just a minute. Right, so what we can do is we'll see how to import the libraries. Suppose आपको pandas use करना है. What you'll do is you'll write down import pandas as speed. You should write this. What we are doing is we are in this thing we are importing the necessary library. Right now we'll just try to create a series. We'll just try to create a series. Now, how to create a series is equal to pd dot series. And अगर आपको इसका series बना 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Now if you check what is there in series, तो ये आपका series है, right? So what is series? It's just a one-dimensional structure like this. Similarly, आपको और एक series बनाने का है. Series 2 is equal to. Remember, you should write capital S for series function. So series is a function inside your pandas library. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you check what is there in series 2, you will be having this series, right? So suppose similarly, suppose you want to create a series in that you are interested to use the dictionary over there. तो आप डिक्शनरी का भी सीरीज बना सकते हो वैसे. So just try this and just let me know if it is done or not. We'll go to the next part in series. Just create any series. I just want you guys should try this thing so that we can go to the next part. Now, if this is done, we'll see the next part, which is how to create the data frame. So what we'll do is now we'll just try to see the difference between data frame and your series. So what I'll do is I'll write down df is equal to pd dot data frame. Now remember this capital D and capital F is there in your function. Remember this thing. If you write small data frame like this, if you write down small d and small f, it will throw the error. So ये function is there. ये function कैसा है आपका? Capital D and capital F, right? Now let's say I want to create a data frame. इसमें I'll just write down the names of the cricketer. Let's say let's take 5 names: Virat, Rohit, Jasprit, and let's go for Hardik, Surya, right? So 5 players are there. Let's say role. What is their role in team? Virat is a batsman. Rohit is also batsman. Jasprit is a bowler, right? So I'll write a bowler. Hardik is all-rounder. And Surya is a batsman. So if you run this, and then if you check what is there in DF, so ये आपका data frame है, right? So this is how you can create a data frame. And what is data frame? It's a two-dimensional structure in the form of rows and column. So ये table, in very simple word, it is a tabular format. right? I'll show you one more example how you can create a data frame. pd.data frame. In that, you'll pass roll number, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma, let's say name as the another column, and in that you can pass a list of name A, comma, B, comma, C, comma D, and comma E, right? Now if you check, let's say this is df1, suppose. Now if you check df1 dot df1, so it will be your data frame that you have created, right? Now let's say we'll see how to read the data. So मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं एक data upload कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, and that data set name is, let's say I want to take Excel data which is there in my system. So I'll just take this data, Titanic data, suppose, and I'll upload it over here. So upload button, select the data and upload it over here, right? Now remember, जहाँ पे आप आपका नोटबुक क्रिएट कर रहे हो, वहीं पे आपको अपलोड करना है. You have to upload it in the same path where you have this particular data set, right? Now, how to read this thing? What you'll do is you'll write on df is equal to इसका extension क्या है, file का extension, it is csv, right? .csv. So you'll write on pd.read underscore csv, and then you'll write down the file name. So suppose this is your file name. So you'll copy this and you are going to paste it over here. So ये क्या कर रहा है? PD is your pandas library. If you remember, we have imported our pandas library as PD. So if you write PD, it will understand that your Python will understand that you want to use Python, you want to use pandas library over there, right? The second is read underscore csv. So आप csv file read कर दो because ये csv file है. Now if you write down df, so this is your file, right? Now let us see. First, if you want to see the first 5 rows, what you'll do, you'll write down df.head. So df.head, what it does is it gives by default first 5 rows. So they call 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the first 5 rows that you have, right? Similarly, अगर आप head के bracket में 3 लिख रहे हो, so you'll get first 3 rows of the data. If you write down 7, आपको 7 rows मिलेंगे first. If you write down 1, you'll get first row. Likewise, if you don't write anything, it will give, by default, it will give first 5 rows, right? Similarly, you want to check last 5 rows. What you'll do is you'll write down df.tell. So by default, it will give you the last 5 rows. But if you write 3, it will give last 3 rows. If you write 4, it will give you last 4 rows, right? So this is what we have. This is last 5 rows. And अगर आपको फाइल का शेप चेक करना है, to check the shape of the file, what you can do is you can write down this. Now how many rows do you have? You have 891 rows and 12 columns in this data. So ये 891 क्या है, rows है और 12 columns है. If you check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 columns and we have 891 rows total. And suppose आपको if you want to check, if you want to list, if you want to get list of all the columns, you'll write down df dot columns, right? And rows index चाहिए आपको तो you'll write down df dot index. तो इंडेक्स रोज का इंडेक्स 0 से स्टार्ट हो रहा है, स्टॉप कब हो रहा है? 891 पे स्टॉप हो रहा है. This is what we have. Now, is it clear, guys? We are just moving further with the analysis part. Is it clear for everyone? Do you have any questions in this? All right. So if you don't have any questions, we'll take a break over here. Head, we have seen this thing, right? Now, after the break, what we'll do is we'll see how to check, how to get the values with the counts for a particular column. Then right after this, we'll see how to get general description of a data or data set. And then we'll see how to create data frame. We already have discovered that. We'll see how to treat what is null value, how to treat the null value after the break. And how to modify or add new columns. So it's 12:05. Let's have a break for 5 minutes. Sorry, 10 minutes. And we'll meet somewhere around 12, 13, 12:40 p.m. What you can do is you can take this as part of your activity. Your questions are, you want to create a data frame. This is your first question. Create 2 data frames. उसमें क्या करो? You can add cricket players and their names. So create 2 data frames, and I'll ask you to share your answer in the chat. So just do this thing. We'll have a break till 12:15, and then we'll see this thing. Yes, have you created this thing? Just write down in the chat. Or if you want to share your screen, you can share. Yes, what about the guys? Is it done? I can see only one response in the chat. What about other guys? Right. Now we'll see the next part in this. So we'll see how to treat the null values. Third point is treating the null values. So what I'll do is I'll write down df.head. And this is your df.head, right? And now you want to check the null values. What do you mean by null values? We'll see this. So df dot is null dot sum. If you write down there, you can see that in age column we have 177 null values. In cabin column you have 687 null values, and in embarked column you have 2 null values. What do you mean by null values? This is your null values. 1, 2, 3. Likewise, if you check आपके केबिन कॉलम में, एम्बार्क्ड कॉलम में और एज कॉलम में, you have null values with you. So NN is not a number, not a number. This is also your not a number, right? So what you can do is, let's say अभी आपको on a particular column चाहिए, on a particular column you want to check the null value. What you can do is, let's say आपको कौन से column के लिए चाहिए, suppose age column के लिए चाहिए. So you can copy the column name df of age dot is null dot sum. तो ये एज कॉलम के लिए नल वैल्यूज आपको मिल रहे हैं वहां पे, राइट? Then we have seen what we are going to do is get the values with their counts on a particular column. So suppose p class जो है, p class ये कॉलम के लिए मुझे क्या चाहिए? वैल्यू काउंट्स चाहिए. I want value counts for this. What I'll do is I can see for p class column ये जो 3 है, ये 3 कितने रिकॉर्ड से ना 491. देन 1 ऐसे 1 पैसेंजर है जो पी क्लास 1 से ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, उनका वैल्यू काउंट कितना है? 216. एंड सिमिलरली 2 का कितना है? 184, राइट? जनरल डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द डेटा इज df.describe. So describe is the function which gives us the descriptive statistics. Describe, right? So df.describe gives you the descriptive statistics for the data. In this thing, you get mean, standard deviation, minimum value, 25%, 50% of the data, 75% of the data, and the maximum value, right? Now, how do you treat the null values? We'll see this thing. This is how you can check the null values. Then, so what do we do? How to treat the null values? How do we treat the null values? Is to fill the null values with the mean. So that it is known as imputation. What do you mean by imputation? We fill the null value with the mean, median, or mode. So if I write imputing with mean, what do I mean by this? I'm going to fill the null values with the mean, right? I'm going to fill the null values with the mean. Similarly, we have another column which is df of, let's say, 6 column. उसके लिए null values है क्या अपने पास? Is null or dot sum. Dot sum, open and close bracket. You do not have null values for the 6 column. Yes or no? So you suppose for each column you want to fill the null values. What you'll do is you'll write down this df of each column. You will use fill na function. Fill na. और किसके साथ फिल करना है आपको? लेट्स से df of age का मीन के साथ में मुझे फिल करना, कॉमा n plus is equal to true. df of age dot is null dot sum. तो देखो अर्लियर पहले आपके 171 वैल्यूज थे, राइट? नल वैल्यूज एज कॉलम में. अभी अपने पास है क्या? नल वैल्यूज नहीं है, बिकॉज वी हैव फिल्ड दिस नल वैल्यूज विद मीन कॉलम. यस और नो? सो यू डू नॉट हैव नल वैल्यूज नाउ. सिमिलरली ये जो केबिन कॉलम है, केबिन में भी आपके पास null values है. Yes or no? So is na or is null, both are the same function. Either you can use is null function or is na, both are the same. Is na is also null values, we check the null values. Is null is also, we check the null values. Now I want to fill these null values. Cabin dot fill na किसके साथ? df of cabin dot mean. And what is in place is equal to true means we are going to do the permanent changes. So that's the reason we write down unsupported operand integer string. So cabin number column nahi hai. Cabin is not a number, right? So what you can do is you can fill this with mode then. देखो न्यूमेरिकल कॉलम जो है उसको ही कंटिन्यूअस कॉलम बोलते हैं, राइट? तो आप सिर्फ नंबर का मीन निकाल सकते हो, नंबर का ही मीन निकाल सकते हो. ऐसा नो? आप इसका मीन निकाल सकते हो क्या? लेट्स से लिस्ट इज इक्वल टू ए बी B, C, D. Can you find mean of this? B या फिर text column या फिर categorical column. You cannot find mean of this, right? सो ये जो केबिन कॉलम था उसका मीन आप नहीं निकाल सकते। केबिन कॉलम में क्या है, नंबर नहीं है, इट इज अ स्ट्रिंग। नंबर क्या है, फेयर, SIB, SP, एज, दीज आर द नंबर्स। So we are going to fill this with median, sorry, mode. What is mode? Mode is nothing but number which is occurring maximum number of times. So for an example, you have a list over here. In that you have 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. So इसका मीन, इसका मोड क्या है? इसका मोड है 4. कितने बार आ रहा है वो? 4 is 3 times, right? So 4 is the mode for this list. Suppose if I write 4, then 5, then 6. So इसका mode क्या है अभी? What is the mode over here? It is 2, because 2 is coming 2 times over there, right? Now we'll see how to modify, how to add new columns in your data. So div.head will check this. And अभी suppose ये 6 जो column है 6, उसको आपको number में convert करना है, 6 column को, 6 column को number में convert करना है. For an example, फीमेल को 1 रिप्लेस करते हैं और मेल को 0 से रिप्लेस करते हैं. हाउ यू कैन डू इज, लेट्स सी दिस. df of 6 is equal to df of 6 column. I want to map this, किसको, मेल कॉलम को with 0 and comma female column को with 1. I want to map this, and then I'll write down div.head to check the values. So देखो अभी फीमेल, स्मॉल फीमेल था क्या, right? So I'll just restart and run all this. देखो 6 कॉलम में अर्लियर आपके पास मेल और फीमेल था, नाउ यू डू नॉट हैव मेल एंड फीमेल, यू हैव zeros and 1. तो ऐसे आप is known as mapping. Now we have one more thing which is known as lambda function. So that for that you need to understand the lambda. Just a minute. Lambda functions. Where do you first we'll see this thing lambda function, then I'll explain the lambda function. What I want to do is I want to finding last name and first name from which column, name column. तो जो नेम कॉलम है उससे आपको फर्स्ट नेम और लास्ट नेम एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है. हाउ यू कैन डू इज, देखो मैं कॉलम बना रहा हूँ नया, df of last underscore name. This is how I can create the column. उसमें क्या करना है, df of name यूज करना है. तो df of name है, ये कॉलम मुझे यूज करना है. मुझे अप्लाई करना है lambda फंक्शन x dot x dot split. We are going to split with comma, and let us check the first part of this. So now if you check df dot head, तो देखो नेम कॉलम तो ऑलरेडी है, बट नेम कॉलम से ही लास्ट नेम आप एक्सट्रैक्ट कर रहे हो. कैसे कर रहे हो, ये जो फर्स्ट जो है, इफ यू सी कॉमा है राइट, यहाँ पे हर एक नेम के बाद में कॉमा है. तो वी आर यूजिंग अप्लाई फंक्शन, इन दैट वी आर स्प्लिटिंग दिस, स्प्लिट बाय कॉमा. क्या कर रहे हैं अपन, वी आर स्प्लिटिंग कॉमा ओवर देयर, देन वी आर टेकिंग द जीरोथ पार्ट ऑफ दिस. सो कॉमा के बाद में स्प्लिट कर रहे हैं और जीरो मतलब फर्स्ट पार्ट ले रहे हैं. तो फर्स्ट पार्ट क्या है, ये पर्टिकुलर इसका कॉमा के पहले कमिंग से hey Kenin, hey, then this is what we have Alan. So these are the last name that we have. Is it clear what we are doing over here? So split कर रहे basically. If you're not understanding this, just don't worry. इसके बाद में भी अपन यही सीखने वाले. But as of now, we will just see this. 5. So this is what we have. Now let us go back to the Python basics and we'll try to see the slicing and dicing. Slicing and dicing in Panda. So what I'll do is I'll create new notebook. We'll continue with this. ये जो अपन कर रहे हैं ना इसमें we have not covered everything. We'll continue this thing. So इसके पहले we'll go to the basics pandas and then we'll start to study this. So I'll just create new notebook and I'll just rename this as slicing and dicing. तो इसमें क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं, I just want to upload the 2 data frames. So data set 1 I want over here. Let me check. Data set 1 and data set 2. Right. Now I want to read this data set 1. How I can do is, first of all, I need to import my pandas as PD. Right. And then I'll write on df is equal to pd.read underscore. अभी data set 1 का extension क्या है? It is CSV again. So CSV. And if you write down in quotes data, you should write this thing and press tab button, tab. If you press tab, it will auto suggest you what you want to read. Suppose you want to read this thing. We'll run this and you'll just write down df of head to check the first 5 entries. Now, what is this slicing and what is dicing? So, to understand this, let us try to create a list like this. If I write a of 0, what I'll get is I'll get 1 over there, because 1 जो है first element उसका index 0 रहता है हमेशा, right? If I write a of 1, index 1 किसका है? 2 का है. Similarly, index 5 किसका है? You do not have index 5, okay. 4 किसका है index? ये जो लास्ट एलिमेंट है उसका 4th, राइट? सो आप ऐसे इंडेक्स फेच कर सकते हो. सिमिलरली आपके डेटा सेट में और आपके डेटा फ्रेम में LOC एंड ILOC फंक्शन है. LOC एंड ILOC, तो वो we are going to study in this session. So let us try to understand this. I'll go with the head part. I have this policy number, age, sex, BMI, and charges in INR column. Now what I'll do is I will write down df.loc. Suppose मैं 1 दे रहा हूँ, 1 और 1 to 4 दे रहा हूँ, और यहाँ पे मैं सपोज पॉलिसी नंबर है वो दे रहा हूँ. तो मुझे क्या मिल रहा है? रो नंबर 1, रो नंबर 3, रो नंबर 4. किसके कॉलम के लिए? कौन से कॉलम के लिए? पॉलिसी नंबर कॉलम के लिए मिल रहे, राइट? सो ये जो फर्स्ट है, फर्स्ट कॉमा के पहले 1 to 4, व्हाट इज दिस? फर्स्ट जो है, फर्स्ट नंबर, इट इज ऑलवेज फॉर, इट विल बी ऑलवेज फॉर रोज. एंड सेकेंड है वो है कॉलम. तो आप कॉलम बाद में लिखते हो, मतलब ये फंक्शन, ये सिंटैक्स है बाय डिफॉल्ट, और रो पहले लिखते हो. तो इफ आई राइट df.loc 2 to 4 एंड लेट्स से मुझे पॉलिसी नंबर से लेके BMI तक चाहिए, तो मैं क्या करूंगा? आई विल कॉपी दिस, आई विल पेस्ट इट ओवर हियर, एंड आई विल take this BMI as well, and I'm going to paste it over here. तो देखो, पॉलिसी नंबर से लेके BMI तक आपको आउटपुट मिल रहा है. कौन से रोज के लिए? रो नंबर 2, रो नंबर 4 के लिए. सपोज मैं इधर, सपोज इफ आई डोंट गिव एनीथिंग ओवर हियर फर्स्ट में, तो वो क्या लेगा? स्टार्ट से लेगा, फ्रॉम स्टार्ट टू एंड, इफ आई डोंट राइट एनीथिंग. सिमिलरली यहाँ पे मैं सपोज स्टार्ट में लिख रहा हूँ 1, लास्ट में कुछ नहीं लिख रहा हूँ, तो वो क्या ले रहा है? फ्रॉम 1 to end, फ्रॉम 1 to end. यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं लिख रहे, मतलब इट इज एंड. यहाँ पे ऑल्सो वी आर नॉट राइटिंग एनीथिंग, मीन्स इट इज स्टार्ट टू एंड. इज इट क्लियर गाइज? Do you have any doubts in this LOC? Is it clear for everyone? Gautam is done. What about other guys? Harsh, Abhay, Atul, Prashant. Right? So what we are doing is we are just fetching rows from for by using LOC function. We are fetching rows by using LOC function. Now ऐसे ही आप अगर आपको इसमें सपोज इफ यू वांट policy number, age, policy number and BMI column, what you'll do is you'll write on df.loc 1 to 4, comma. In this thing you'll create a list. So list में आप policy number, you can pass policy number and comma, you can pass, suppose you want only sex column, so you can pass list of this. policy number and 6 you can get, right? Suppose this is not a serious, this is not a consecutive policy number, then BMI, then charges and INR. If you want this, you can create a list like this. So इसमें कैसा है, you cannot, for rows you can write down number, but column के लिए you cannot write down number. See, it is throwing the error. But there is one more function that we have. If you use this ILOC, and if you are writing the number for column as well, so row के लिए भी number है and column के लिए भी number है. Now what does this means? Row आप देखो तो row 1 2 3 ही मिल रहा है, row 1 2 3 ही मिल रहा है. But in this thing, in LOC 1 2 3 4 भी ले रहा है. But यहाँ पे क्या है, this is exclusive, मतलब less than 4. 1 मिलेगा, 2 मिलेगा और 3 मिलेगा. Similarly column भी देखो, column जिसका इंडेक्स 1 है, जिसका इंडेक्स 2 है और जिसका इंडेक्स 3 है, वही आपको मिलेगा आपके डेटा में. इफ यू चेक div.head of 3, आपके डेटा में कॉलम का इंडेक्स 1 किसका है? पॉलिसी नंबर का 0 है, देखो, बिकॉज योर इंडेक्स स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम 0 इन पाइथन. पॉलिसी नंबर का 0 है, एज का 1 है, सेक्स का 2 है और BMI का 3 है. पॉलिसी नंबर 0, एज 1, सेक्स 2, BMI 3 एंड चार्जेस आर 4. सो 1 से लेके 3 मतलब एज, सेक्स एंड BMI, दिस इज व्हाट यू आर गेटिंग. सो दिस इज ILOC. इसमें आप अगर कॉलम के लिए आपको स्ट्रिंग यूज करना है तो वो आप नहीं यूज कर सकते. Suppose if I write BMI, it will throw the error. What is this error? You cannot use strings inside this. So in ILOC, you cannot use string. Is it clear, guys? So अभी df.head जो है उसका ही आउटपुट आपको df.loc से लेना है. What you can do is from start to 5 or 4 and policy number to end, right? ये दोनों same output, yes or no? This and this. Similarly, if you want this thing by using ILOC, what you can do from start to 5 and from start to end, right? So ILOC और LOC से आप head का output यहाँ पे ले रहे हो. Now we have one more thing which is known as reverse indexing that we are going to study. So suppose I'm creating a list ABC 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now if I write A of -1, what I'm getting is I'm getting last element. A of -1 means last element. तो इसको बोलते हैं रिवर्स और नेगेटिव इंडेक्सिंग. रिवर्स और negative indexing. What do you mean by this? If you write A of -2 तो आपको second last digit मिलेगा. If you write A of -3 आपको third last मिलेगा, third last, right? If you write a of -4, you get fourth last. So is it clear what is reverse indexing? If this is clear, we'll just try to see this. If I write df dot ILOC -1 and -1, तो मुझे क्या मिल रहा है? देखो, what I'm getting is I'm getting last element over there. -1 and -1. मुझे ये मिल रहा है, देखो. -1 रो क्या है? It is 1338. -1 column क्या है? It is charges in INR. Yes or no? And if I want to use negative indexing by LOC, I think it's not allowed, but let's try to do it. No. तो negative indexing देखो इसमें नहीं यूज कर सकते. You cannot use -1 in LOC. So ILOC में -1, what is this? Last row, last column. What is your last row? This is your last row, right? What is your last column? This is your last column. So this is what you are getting. Now this is negative indexing. We'll just stop here for the day. And right after this, in tomorrow's session, we will discuss a few questions like this. Get row number 133421338 for all the columns, and by using negative indexing as well. तो नेगेटिव इंडेक्सिंग से भी आपको 1334 और 1338 लेना है वहां पे आउटपुट में. And how we can do it, we'll see this thing. So likewise, you can work on n number of questions. Get row number 143 to 160 for column A and BMI. Get row number 1002 to 1016 for column number 0 to 4. So these are the few questions that you have. You can practice this thing. And anyways, we are going to solve this in tomorrow's session. Yeah. Do you have any questions in this session till now, whatever we have discussed? Any doubts, anything you want to discuss, you can discuss. I'll just upload this on your drive. Python. You'll require day 3, right? All right. Yes. I'm waiting for your questions if you have any. Otherwise, we'll just stop here for the day. Yes. Anybody wants to ask anything, you can ask. Is it clear? Aditya, Gautam, Harsh, Japuji, Piyanshu, Prashant, Vaibhav, Vinay, and Zahir. Do you guys have any questions in this?
Guys, can you all unmute yourself and speak?
All right,
You
then.
guys can yes, sir.
If you don't have, we'll stop it for the day. So thank you and happy learning. Bye.